Hi everyone, Diana Rankin here with your psychic soul messages and perhaps a prediction or two for this coming week of November the 4th through the 10th. I want to say that when I say November, I always want to say the 11th because that's my birthday, but it's the 4th through the 10th. The first thing I want to tell you this week is I want to ask you to please be very, very aware of your surroundings and vote. Tuesday is election day, and I'd like to see all of us go out and vote. Vote our hearts, vote our consciousness. That said, I'm going to ask all of you to really be alert this week, especially before the election, but especially even after the election. Let's be exceptionally alert to our surroundings, what is going on around us, who is around us, and if at any time you feel that you need to move, do. Listen very carefully to your intuition. It's going to be extremely important this week. This is not going to be the easiest week for our country. Unfortunately, we're probably going to see more of what we've seen, more bomb threats, more violence. What we're going to do, each of us, as I mentioned last week, as a soul, we chose to come in during these times. And so as souls, we have a responsibility. And part of that responsibility is to surround our earth in prayer, in healing light, with angels, whatever works for you. That's what I want you to do, is to surround our world with love by whatever name. And I remind you, love is an active verb, so it's not just an emotion. So love means reach out to your neighbor. If your neighbor needs a ride to the ballot box, provide a ride, even if the neighbor is voting differently from who you're voting for. That's love. Not easy. Not easy at all. But please, reach out. Let's love each other. And let's show love in action. Okay. We are going to get a message from Philip. This is my spirit guide. But first, I promised you a few weeks ago that every week for a while I would give you some way to deepen your intuition and be able to work with it. And one of the things I want you to be able to do is you have to believe in something greater than yourself. Whether we call that something God, energy, spirit, love, by whatever name, there has to be something bigger than this human that I am. And so I want you to be able to reach out to something that feels greater than you. Now, you know, when I was very young in Sunday school, the Sunday school teacher said, well, we should pray through Jesus, not just directly to God. And I said, why? Why not just pray directly to God? Well, the Sunday school teacher didn't quite know what to do with me, and so she sent me upstairs to stay with my grandmother. Maybe with the older folks, I wouldn't ask so many questions. Didn't help, but I finally found an answer to that question. And it took me many, many years to get to that answer. But what I figured out is, as humans, we like to feel there's a human touch. We like to feel we're conversing with another human being because God feels so far away from many of us. That's one thing. And so I always say you can work with a spirit guide, you can work with an angel, you can work with someone you love who has passed over, a grandparent, even a parent. If you do that, make sure you're always working with their higher self. And in my Awakening to Your Deeper Intuition workshop, which will be over by the time this airs, But in that, I always say work with the communicator so you don't have tons of spirits trying to reach you. You've got one channel, one conductor who can then coordinate everybody else. You know, I want to tell you another story, but I hope that explains that human connection does help. So it's easy to work with the spirit guide or so forth, but we have to believe that spirit guide or the angel or even our loved one is connected to, as are we, to this higher source. And that source, I say, call it spirit, God, the energy, everyone and everything is part of that. You know, one of the other things I teach in the Awakening Workshop is how to see our aura. And when we see our aura, which you can do with Kirlian photography, or some of you see auras, cool. But when we see our aura, what we can do is, that's our ethereal body that we're seeing. And as we develop in love, as we develop our intuition, we can feel that ethereal body more and more ourselves. We become more aware of it. And so when we're dealing with spirit's world, we're able to recognize more of the ethereal body because obviously spirits don't have physical bodies. So I always want to say, once we start recognizing who we truly are, that we are love, that we are spirit, we really start understanding what God is, what spirit is, what the universe is. And it's a marvelous acceptance of that. It's a marvelous feeling because we never again will feel alone. When I was teaching at the university, one of my students was evangelical, and this was a more, I taught a lot of adult students, but every once in a while I taught traditional classes. And I'm sorry, I think it was an adult course, but she seemed younger, so perhaps it was more of a traditional class. But anyway, that doesn't matter. But one of the things that she said is, she said, I checked out your webpage, and you're scary to me. And why am I scary to you? I'm afraid you're going to try to keep me from believing in my God. You're going to try to get me to believe in something else. Well, I looked at her and I said, no, what I am going to do is hopefully make your God bigger. At the end of the course, she paid me probably the best compliment that anyone pays a teacher. She said, you made my God bigger. You did exactly what you said you would. My friends, religion tends to make our God too small. Let your religion or your spiritual beliefs, whatever it is you practice, let it make your God big. Let it fill the entire universe. Let it be all that love is, all that we are. Feel that connection this week. Regardless of what is going on in the outside world, allow yourself to be part of that connection, knowing that you and I are holding hands and hearts this week and next and next. Let's get a message from Philip. Thank you, by the way, for your comments. As you know, it takes me sometimes a while to get around to answering them. I do get them on my, I get them in, even if I'm not on YouTube, I get them in my email account. And so I get to read them, and then I can go back later and respond. But this is my spirit guide, as you know, so thank you from Philip and I for those comments. We always appreciate them. And this is an oracle book where each page has a different wisdom. And what we do is we just open to any page, or we flip through if we want. and we think left page or right page. And as you think left page or right page, we get the message from either left page or right page. I usually, as you know, read both pages, but one is our message. The other is just a little extra wisdom that helps us. You know, I use this book when I journal in the morning after I meditate, and I always ask for a message. Some people tell me they use it at night before they go to bed to get a message for the next morning or the next day. So people are always amazed how a book can be so accurate. So here we go. And yes, it is available, by the way, on Amazon.com if you would care to purchase it. It's available in ebook and print. I recommend the print. My other books are fine on ebook, and you can use this one on ebook. I just think the print is easier, and you don't have to scroll down. You just open to a page. And there we go. I'm going to say this is our message because that page just popped out of there, didn't it? And I think our message is on the right page, but I'm going to read the left as well. But here's our message on the right page. If you live today to its fullest, you will always have warm memories of yesterday and a tomorrow to look forward to. Let me read that again. If you live today to its fullest, you will always have warm memories of yesterday and a tomorrow to look forward to. I love that. And that goes along with what we're talking about. Live in the moment. Live in total awareness of what is going on around you. You need to do that this week, especially for your own safety and that of those with you. But it's also, we're going to have to find joy in those moments. You know, one of you, and I'm not going to be able to say this perfectly by any means, but one of you paid me such a lovely compliment. You said that when there are things that are painful that we talk about, such as the children that are being imprisoned on the border, that you can feel the pain I feel, that you can feel that pain yourself, that our energies unite. But you also say that you see how I pull myself back into that place of love. Yes, I shed tears. Yes, I get angry. Yes, life is not always easy. I'm human. But I always remind myself, what's the truth of life? And the truth, underneath all of the difficulties, underneath all of the pain, the truth is love. And that, my friends, is what God is to me. Love. Yesterday, I don't know if you can see behind me, it's kind of a gloomy, rainy day, and we've had some flooding around. And it's a cold day, obviously, with what I'm wearing. I've got a couple of sweaters on here. So it's a rather chilly day. And yesterday was warmer, but it was gloomy. There was no sunshine. It was gray, and I had to run errands, and so I was getting wet, and everybody seemed a little grumpy, which meant I was the grumpy one, not everybody else, but we always get that reflected back to us. And the more we develop our lives, the quicker that feedback comes back to us. So I was driving home, and I thought, I was driving, and I thought, this isn't going to get it. I've got to get out of this mood. I've got to stop seeing this as a gloomy, rainy day. And as I said that, I looked up, and the most beautiful red and gold trees, a whole row of trees, were like across my horizon on both sides of the road. And I'm driving down a 2-lane country road, and it's a little soft curves, but almost straight. And as I look ahead, here are these beautiful autumn trees and this misty, foggy path. And it brought me to tears because it was so beautiful. and it changed my attitude like that? Or did I change my attitude like that so I could see the beauty around me? Either way, it changed the day. Let me read the left side, because I say I always will give you both sides, but again, our message was, if you live today to its fullest, you will always have warm memories of yesterday and a tomorrow to look forward to. That's our message from Philip. And on the other side it says, every magician must work hard to learn magic tricks. Every magician must work hard to learn magic tricks. Life is magical. Even with all of the pain that is happening in the U.S. right now, that is affecting the world, I can't stress it strongly enough. Those acts of love are so important. Holding our world in love. We need to stop divisiveness. We also need to avoid World War III. We can do it. We can do it. It's up to us, though. So vote, be aware of your surroundings, and let love guide your actions. I love you, my friends. Daisy's over here asleep. She just decided to stay there, I guess. And so thank you for being with us today. Thank you so much for loving us, for your kindness toward us, and for telling your friends about this channel. I appreciate it. So from Diana and Daisy, the front porch kitties, the indoor kitties, and all the two-legged ones, we love you. Thank you.